The first time I came across the use of the term thingify, thing, like something, thingify, um, of course, is by Martin Luther King Jr. And I sought to, ascertain what is he saying when something is thingify. And what he was essentially explaining in an interview with NBC, he was explaining to them that the African, the Negro, has been thingified by the majority, which is the white population. And to be thingified is to make the Negro a thing, and to depersonalize an individual, a group of people, so that in the process of thingifying a person, the black race, the Negro race, they are able to continue with their moral decadence. They are able to continue to practice evil against another human being and don't feel a sense of moral obligation or a sense of guilt while doing it, because they are not doing it to a person, they are doing it to a thing. So when the African slave could be in slavery for well over 200 years in America and been treated as a property, been treated as a thing, then you are able now to soothe your conscience by coming up with reasons to satisfy that evil propensity by saying, well, this is not a human being. And you would go about it with research scientifically. You would show how a black man, really is a monkey, who he's less than. So scientifically you do research to show his brain is not as equipped as any other human being. And you would find some of them went so far into scripture to find reasons to support why a black man is not equal to a white man or other races. And you see, it had a lot to do with, in as much as they were very racial in what they were doing, part and parcel what they were trying to secure is their economic base. And you use the African and his family to enrich your economic base, because he is a thing and a property, and when he works for you for free, you are able to live a lavish lifestyle on the expense of this thing. The moment you start to bring a person into the Negro, and you could see that he is a person, then it's hard with all clear conscience, and many of them were practicing Christians, and to say that I am treating a person in this way and still could see God and still could go to church and worship and sing, and God says that you should treat everybody equal. They knew fully well that they didn't want to treat the African equal. So in order for them to be able to sleep at night, you had to thingify him. You had to make a thing out of him. He is a property. He is less than. And having done so, people would say, well, all the other immigrants came to America. And when they came to America, they worked hard and they were able to achieve and to do well. What's up with this group? You see, it's very important to know that it was a deliberate attempt, even when they freed the slaves in 1863 and sent them out. They sent the slaves out to no land. You give them no land, so you're living nowhere. So you will end up in some little street without any work, without any economic support, without any medical care, without any social amenities. And when you gather yourself together as a little black group, what do you expect it to become? Not a slump. And they fully well knew that. And while they would have freed the slaves, they were also now inviting other European peasants to come in America, and they offered them free land, acres of land in the South. So those who work the land for well over 200 years, you give them nothing. Because they are peasants, and you treat them as peasants, but you give them nothing. All that the America became is as a result of the blood, sweat, and tear of the Negro. Rather than find some way to give them a start, you give them no start. You put them out on the streets as a form of an additional punishment. Because that was just as harsh as slavery to some extent. When you could send a man and his wife and his children out there with no place to rest your head, no way to sleep, nothing to eat, you just send them out there to be vagrants. At the same time now, you invite peasants from Europe and offer them land. Land is the biggest start anybody could have in any part of the world. Right in Trinidad, a lot of folks are suffering, and all they need is a piece of land to start. Because if you have a piece of land, you know you could knock up something where your family could go in there, and bit by bit you buy blocks and you build a better house and you have something that you could call home. So land is the first start. They had absolutely no start. Additionally, into thingifying the African, they also made the African color a problem. They made black a very, very, very big problem among all humanity. So among all races, they did a very good job in stigmatizing the color black. So much so, anywhere you go in the world, the way how they would have branded Africans and market Africans as less than and black, and make black sound like ugly. So that's why somebody could always put it in one phrase, black and ugly. Make black an ugly thing. So you go in Asia, they have the same narrative. Black is ugly. Black is a thing. Black is less than. You go in Europe, it's the same thing. Central America, wherever part of the world, once America packaged something, they could well sell something, you know. I mean, you listen to their own advertising. They would talk about a drug, how well it would do for you. And then in the end of the ad, they would tell you how you will die with this and you will die with that, and this could happen and you could get cardiac arrest and everything. And then when they finish, they say buy it. And you still buy it. So that they are good in packaging. All the music, all the Hollywood stuff, the basketball, the this, the that, the entertainment, everything they are good at packaging and selling to the rest of the world. The rest of the world receives it and live their lives in accordance with America. So when America says black is ugly, black is worthless, the rest of the world bought into it. And so, even in that interview, the NBC interview, you know, the interviewer was asking him why black people essentially can't seem to pull up themselves by their bootstraps. You know, I love when he spoke to that, you know. Because he essentially says, yes, it is important for people to pull up themselves by their bootstraps. But then he went on further to say that for the vast majority of Africans, they have no boots by the hundreds and by the thousands. So if you have no boots, how are you going to pull up yourself by a bootstrap? Now, what does that have to do with us also in Trinidad? I mean, even before I go there, let me just say this. Now that you have rendered black people and put them in a place where they are thingified, they have no land, they have no economic wealth, you deprive them of a proper education, you put them in all kind of slums and gutter places to live, ghetto. And they have been the only race that have ever been in slavery on the American soil. No other race have experienced slavery on the American soil. None. Yes, they came, they worked hard, but they've never experienced slavery. They never lived that. You cannot speak for a slave when you've never lived the life of a slave. So they knew the experience. And so it was always an uphill task to be able just to be seen as a man, because you know they will call a big man with wife and children, those same white men will call him a boy. Come here, boy. So you had to just try to fight to be a man. Although you're a man, you had to fight to be a man. Of course, as time progressed, with all the different marches and awareness and that Martin Luther and many others were engaged in trying to bring up Africans to an equal keel with everybody else, which has not happened even up to now, because you could still see the level of brutality that black people are experiencing with the police service in America. It's very inhumane. But the struggle, the fight has always been there to just try and get there. Yeah, but what have happened, however, in as much as several of the laws and acts would have been passed in 1965 for you to vote and all this different kind of stuff, they are the ones who are in charge. They have the power. And what they're saying, we are prepared to integrate you incrementally in phases. You're not going to get all what you want one time. And there are some things that you will not get. We cannot afford to give you, because to give you, it would be of great sacrifice to us to give up. Because everybody wants to be at the top. Everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants to live the American dream. So you can't be a participant at this table at certain levels. But we could understand. We could understand that, yes, what we would have been doing is really inhumane over the years. So we just bring you up incrementally in phases. Come here to Trinidad and Tobago. The same thing is mirrored here to a great extent. The only race that have ever been in slavery in Trinidad is the African race. I'm not teaching race right now. I want to get to something here, but I am teaching facts. The only race has been the African race. All the other immigrants, whether indentured workers, whether the Asians, they all came. They were given an opportunity to stay with their families and to work and to build themselves. It's one thing for you to be a slave and they dismantle your family because you're a thing, you're not a person. So they could just take your family, put that one here, put that thing here, put that thing here, because it's a thing. And of course, slavery ended here too. And we continue to grow as a nation. We became independent, we're a republic. But if you look at the life that is being lived right now in Trinidad, for those who are in leadership and who are ruling and what have you, they want to appear as though they are integrating all the poor people and trying them to bring them up to a place where they could be living the Trinidad dream as everybody else and who could live. But let me tell you something. They are deliberately doing these things in phases, and so that it is not that they all together wants to bring everybody to that place all at once. It is profitable for some of them, for ghettos to exist, for poverty to exist, in order for them to live that lifestyle. If you decide to sit down on a table and say, oh, well, we could make some money, how you think you could make some money? Let me tell you, I have a brilliant idea. Brilliant idea. Let's invest in a lot of a large security service where we have big trucks where we could transport prisoners and where we could, but how that business can be thriving? How that business? Let me tell you something. They'll always have a lot of crime taking place in Trinidad. And when the amount of crime taking place in Trinidad, business will grow. We'll start off with 20 trucks and then we'll end up with 200 trucks and we'll end up with 500 trucks. How do we get to 1,000 trucks to transport prisoners from here to there and what have you? Because the more you're able to expand, is the more money you're able to make. And how do you get to expand? You could only expand when more criminals come, when you have more criminals to transport. So there are people who benefit from it. And a bad day of business is when you don't have too much of crimes and too much of criminals to transport. It means their business they start to watch the figures. You find your profit dropping. Because crime going down, this business can't go up. I'm just painting the raw reality. The raw reality. This is not to cast any aspersions of any business, but I'm just showing you something. Even with the funeral homes, so and we need them because people die. We need to for that time for them to be able to take care of our loved ones and what have you. But what's the reality? What is a good day of business for funeral homes? And the more deaths. Anytime business is going bad is because people are dying as much. Even the medical fraternity, some people I know you're going to be getting upset with me. But a good day of business for doctors is when real people sick come to your business. Anytime you hardly anybody come into your business because they are sick, that is not good business for you, For many of in the law fraternity, in order for this thing to thrive and what have you, is when people have problems that they have to come to you, The more problems people have to defend themselves from going into court or for whatever actions or what have you. If the place is corrupt, people thief your land, this, that, the other. When I sit down and I open my office doors, I want people to come in because when people that come in, they have to have problems. And when plenty people with plenty problems come by me, my business started to grow. I can hire another lawyer, hire another bigger law firm, expand. I could only expand with problems. So, and if you look at all these different areas and professions and what have you, those are the glamorous ones that people want their children to become and this and that and the other, is in order for that to be successful. Things have to always be going wrong and bad. So to fix these things will carry down the economic wealth of many. You tell me, with all the money that passed through Trinidad and Tobago since the 1960s, the billions and billions of dollars, Levanter can't fix as yet. Beatum can't fix as yet. You really believe if the powers that be really want to fix this place with poverty, with the amount of money passed through here, not one of them communities could. Let's say we decide to fix them community by community because we can't fix all at a time. Is there one community that's been coming up in the news for the past 30 years as being hotspots and crime-ridden and what have you? You tell me 30 years of billions of dollars could not be invested in one of them so that they could have been a model community for us to look at right now. And so people are excited and hopeful that soon and very soon they're coming by me next in our community to fix up in Brandy here now. And somebody in South could say they're coming just now because I see progress is being made. Let all the governments point to one community with the billions of dollars they have on an annual basis and point to one community that they fixed. The same hotspots that were hotspots 20 years and 30 years ago is the same hotspots today. Do you really think they want to fix this? So I'm saying to all of us here this morning, still in the minds of many, the African is thingified. And so their communities will continue to be slums and the ghetto, and then they reach a place now where even the young people celebrating ghettoism. Celebrating that, I'm man in the ghetto, you're singing ghetto songs, you do all your music videos in the ghetto and ghetto. It come a place now, even the victim doesn't even want to come out of the ghetto. Because it happened so long, you don't know who really the African is. You really don't even know yourself. And I'm saying here what's going on. In order for Trinidad and Tobago to be a better place, the least of these have to be fixed so that all of us will benefit. And I do appreciate and understand that we have also many Indians who are suffering and going through hardship too. And we have to fix all. We have to fix all. It's not only African suffering. Even though I labored a lot on what I said. We have Indians who are suffering. And I want to say it's not everybody, Rachel. It's not everybody. 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 It's not everybody It have in every ethnic group in Trinidad people who are not on race. But you have to be able to be open to the problem and identify the problem and to speak to it and to see what it is. Folks, if we want to fix Trinidad and Tobago is fixable. But you have to watch and see who are sitting behind closed doors with all the power in their hand, whether or not they have genuine intentions to fix. And there's a song that we would sing, "How much you love me, your actions would show." You see, for those leaders who are leading, that applies to them too. How much you love your population, your action would show. How much you love the least of these, your action would show. And the actions that I've seen thus far does not show that love until receiving a lot of love. It does not show that Beaton receiving a lot of love. It doesn't show in St. Grandy that folks up in the Pine and Babwande and other places being a lot of love. Those in Bangladesh are not seeing that they getting a lot of love. How much you love me, your actions would show. We could really improve this situation in these places. We have too many millions to pass through here for the place to still be looking as it's looking. That is not good enough. I'm saying it's time. I am seeking to stir up within our hearts a desire for love for all our fellow men. When one group benefit, all groups benefit. If Africans are living a better life, the whole society will live a better life. If Indians are living a better life, the whole society will be living a better life. If the poor live in a better life, they won't have to take up guns, so the rich could live a better life and enjoy the fruit of their hard labor. But it needs to happen with everybody seeing that we have to lift each other together. The African have to help the Indian to be a better person, and the Indian have to help the African to be a better person, and the Syrian have to help the Chinese to be better, and we have to all help each other to be better Trinidadians and Tobagonians. That is what we have to see going forward. So, thank you for listening. God's blessings until the next one.